So in 2018, I made a very difficult decision to not talk about politics. I'd been a political commentator, I'd done a lot of political work. But then I got into the mental health space and I said, I will not talk about politics. But what's going on in this country requires our collective voices that we speak up, The cost of living is skyrocketing and there are so many people who are losing their livelihood. There are many shops that are closing, people are losing their businesses, a lot of humiliation at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Simply put, this government is enacting anti-people policies and it's ruining so many lives, And the worrying thing is that the president will not make any major difference. Do you know why? Because one, he knows that Kenyans are deeply tribal. So right now, even though we are complaining and we are murmuring and we are crying, he knows that in the next 4 years when elections comes, all it will take is to wipe up the tribal emotions, talk about this community versus this community, and therefore reason will be cast out and people will still vote for him. Secondly, our president knows that this country's electoral justice system is crap. That all you need to do is to get the highest bidder at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, pay them some money, and then they will decide who becomes the president of this Republic of Kenya. It doesn't matter how many Kenyans line up to vote, and that's why we need to talk about electoral justice. And last but not least, the president knows that this country is still under a neocolonialism chokehold, that our biggest supporters or the biggest people who have a biggest say in who becomes president in this country are not Kenyans, neither are they black, but they are people who are found in our former colonizers, they're found in those former places. So they're the ones who decide. That's why all the presidential candidates must go to London, that's why they must go to the US, they must do that tour. And they know very well that whoever they choose, whoever our neocolonial masters choose, will become the president of this Republic of Kenya. But let me say this, and this is something that I really believe in 110%, that we can stop this government by rising up. And by rising up, I don't mean that we need to take arms or do all sorts of stuff like that. No, we need to organize. Organize ourselves in our wards, in our communities, and take back our country. We've got to stand up, whether through picketing, through petition, through calling your local representative. There must be something we're willing to do to change this country. Because if we don't, this country is going to become too expensive and only a tiny minority who are stealing your money will afford to live in this country. I don't know, the rest of us who are coming from poor backgrounds or who do not have looted cash or do not have cash stashed in offshore accounts or do not have an inheritance from our parents who maybe ate from this country. I don't know whether we will afford to live in this country. I'm not sure whether we're going to pay rent or whether we're going to afford food or whether our lives are going to be better. But if we don't stand up today and take back our country, if we don't stand up today and take back our country, I'm telling you that this government will not stop. It will put its leg on our neck until we can't breathe anymore. And I want to tell you, as a young person mostly, that we are the majority in this country. We form 76% of this country. The decision that this government is making today, it is you and I who will pay a heavy price. When these taxes go up, when we are overborrowing, when we are eroding the public goods that are provided for in Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya, it is us who will eventually pay the price when our children cannot afford to go to public schools, when our mothers are sick and we cannot take them to public hospitals, when we no longer have public housing, when we don't have public parks, when this city will only be for the rich who have big cars and can drive on those rough roads, when this country is no longer humane enough, it is you and I who will pay that price. And therefore, rise up and take back your country. My name is Danny Shodongo, and I am pissed, and I am taking a stand that no more. Mr. Ruto, enough is enough. President Ruto, enough is enough. Thank you.